And now at 165, we continue to roll on here in Lincoln. For Nebraska, it is the number 6 rated wrestler, Isaiah White Jr. take it on. Eric Yang, the sophomore from Northwestern. And based on paper, again, this matchup gives Nebraska an edge and a chance to crawl closer to the 7-point lead from the Wildcats.
Isaiah White went to high school at Oak Park River Forest in Illinois. Very tough high school program.
And we do have a stalling warning on Northwestern. 9 seconds into this 165-pound matchup. White 8-3 on the year, 3-3 in duels, while Yang is 2-5, 1-1 in duels. As White looks to work around, and he gets the takedown. 2 points for the Cornhusker.
Good combination of power there with exploding right into Yang, getting his weight back on his heel, and then snagging an ankle and getting the angle.
And both wrestlers go off the mat. They'll reset. Yang 2-9 in his career. There's the takedown by White. He has a 2-0 lead. White 33-11 in his career, 14-5 career duel record. Already 3-1 versus Big Ten opponents this season.
White was Division II national champion for Notre Dame of Ohio as a true freshman, and then transferred to Nebraska the very next year. He had a very, very impressive Cliff Keen tournament in Las Vegas in early December. Took out a handful of ranked wrestlers to win the tournament.
3 top 15 opponents to win that invitational. And as a returning NCAA qualifier, went all the way to the round of 12. It finished 7th in the Big Ten tournament a year ago.
The Big Ten Conference is the toughest conference in college wrestling, has been for a while, and you'll see a lot of wrestlers who do get 5th, 6th, or 7th in the conference tournament and still place in the top 8 and become All-Americans at the national tournament. And right now, just to make an example of that, is Penn State is ranked number 1, and then you have Iowa, who's ranked number 2, and Ohio State ranked number 3rd in the nation. Some depending on the publication, some have Ohio State 2nd, some have Iowa 2nd, and that's the same rankings they are for the Big Tens.
So a point for Yang of the escape. So it's 2-1 in the favor of White for Nebraska with 1:13 left to go here in this first period. Again, it looks like they did have a lineup change, so check that. That is Trevor Morland for Northwestern. As they're both in standing position with 45 seconds left to go in the first period.
Morland doing a good job of keeping his hands active and keeping White off of his motion and game. You see White having to clear ties a lot. Sometimes it's harder to get to your leg attacks when you're always having to clear the ties.
Morland 0-1 for his career, and again he's taken down by White. But Morland does get the escape, so it's 4-2 with 23 seconds left in the opening period. He's a redshirt freshman.
You see White almost getting the takedown there, a good snap, and then he used the momentum of that snap to pull himself to the corner and really run and use his quickness.
So 10 seconds to go, first period. White with a 4-2 lead, goes in for another shot, drives and gets the takedown, 6-2 as the first period comes to an end.
Again, scoring at the end of the period, and White did a nice job of hitting that double from space right here. And Morland tried to pull him up into a possible upper body throw, but White stayed down on the legs and collected the 2.
So White will go on bottom to begin the second period. He leads 6-2. Morland last year wrestled unattached at 174 pounds. His highlight of last season. Finished in second place at the Duhawk Open last January. So riding time was over a minute for White, now is under a minute, but White does get the escape, makes it 7-2.
Right there, you see White holding position on bottom, not getting broken down, holding position, and then waiting for Morland to choose a side to try and get a breakdown, and then he used that little separation of pressure to get his hips out and get the escape.
So both will be in standing position. White, who is ranked number 5, is only 8-3, but he has had one heck of a schedule this year. 7 of his 11 matches have come against ranked opponents.
As we were talking about before the match started, in college there's not as many tournaments. Like in high school, you'll have a tournament almost every weekend, and sometimes a duel or two during the weekdays. And that's why some of these wrestlers only have 10, 12 matches.
And so there was a stalling point on Morland, so it would be 8-2 Nebraska. And now it was Morland who was deep in on a shot, and now they're going to review whether it was 2 points before they went out of bounds.
That's going to be close. It looked like, hard to tell from our angle, but he might have had that other leg, and there's not much reaction time in college wrestling.
So here is the replay.
You see Morland's left hand went up to the waist. If he would have kept it on the leg, that would have definitely been 2. We'll see what the officials go with.
So here's another shot at it. Different angle. And yeah, he kind of removed that left hand from the waist.
It looked for a second like he was going to be behind both of White's arms, but White pulled out one of his arms, and as he turned his head to face Morland. One of those calls where probably they made the right call, but if they would have made it the other way, it's hard to argue.
Yeah.
That happens in a split second.
So the call stands, so no takedown for Morland, so it's still 8-2 in the favor of White, with 40 seconds to go left here in the second period. Northwestern leads 14-7, but Nebraska has won 2 out of the last 3 matches. And looking to get another one here at 165 pounds. As White faked a shot, then went in for another one, and now gets the takedown right outside the mat. It's 10-2. So that makes it a major decision at this moment, but you still got a period and 20 seconds to alter the result.
That sequence you see there from White, that's where there's a fake in there to get his opponent off balance a little bit, and then a snap, and then running to an angle in a corner. That's really what it takes at the college level to get takedowns. You can't just grab somebody, pull them, and usually attack and score right away. You have to really get them off balance and get your angle for the attack.
So final seconds tick off the clock. And we have a takedown right before the buzzer goes. It's 12-3 White. As we go to the third period, White dominating right now, has a 9-point lead, and here's the takedown right before the buzzer.
You see White use his left hand to redirect Morland's right hand, and that allowed him to run his feet and get to that angle in that corner.
So White will be on top, Morland on bottom. Again, Morland wrestling in his second official career match. He won 8-4 a year ago as an unattached wrestler. And he gets the escape, makes it 12-4.
White builds his riding time up to 1:17. Only had 58 seconds going into this period.
So 30 seconds into the final period, 12-4 in the favor of White.
One rule change with college wrestling this year is you're not allowed to put the palm of your hand in the actual face of your opponent. You can put it above his eyebrows. There's a kind of an imaginary triangle that goes from the eyebrows, corner of your eyes, down to your mouth. And so they want you to keep your hands out of their face.
Both wrestlers go off the mat. They'll reset. White, a very good dual wrestler. He led Nebraska with 11 dual wins last year. It is 3-3 so far this year, looking to make it 4-3. He only has 50 seconds to go until he makes it so, and there's 2 more points for White, 14-4 with 45 seconds left in the third period. As White lets Morland's escape, makes it 14-5. And at this point, if you're White, you want to look for the tech fall.
Definitely a takedown to some near fall is really where he's going to have to go, to where maybe instead of trying to get an angle like he has been on his last few takedowns, blast double straight ahead, collect both legs.
Because even in how much White has dominated this match, he is not getting Morland on his back. So we do have a little bit of stoppage.
Right here, you see White with his left hand getting ready to go for a tight waist tilt to collect that arm. Didn't quite have his hips in enough, but good seeing a wrestler smell the blood and try and go for that technical fall and extra bonus points.
Looks like it might have been, the stoppage might have been for White. He was hunched over. But now they reset in the middle of the mat, and we are off and running with 40 seconds to go in the third period. White well in control, ahead 14-5. Morland tries to go in for a shot, but they both run off the mat.
Seeing some good action this last 30 seconds or so, because Morland obviously trying not to give up a major, so he's trying to score. But if he gets a little wild and maybe takes a bad shot and gives up a takedown, he's not going to give up those technical fall level of bonus points.
So, and if you are Morland, get a takedown. Well, you need to take down some near fall points if you want to avoid the major decision. But there goes the buzzer for the end of this one. 2 more points for Isaiah White, 18-5, the final. So not a tech fall, but it is a major decision. And Nebraska is now within 3 points.